I applaud Ebony K Williams for coming to this realization. This is why this channel exists. One of the reasons is because we have to be strategic, Black women. Hi wives and future wives, how are you today? God bless you. Ebony K Williams. Yes, Ebony K Williams is back in the news. Now, a few months ago, she went viral for basically being interviewing Iyanla Vanzant, and Iyanla asked her, would she ever date a bus driver? She said, if he owns the bus company. Iyanla said that she was wrong for thinking this way.
Would you date a bus driver? Would you date
if he owns the bus? If he owns it. If he owns the bus,
that's the problem.
And basically she went viral because there was a lot of people, especially Black men, who felt that she was putting down blue collar workers, that basically that she was wrong for her thoughts, that she should be able to give a man a chance. It shouldn't matter his occupation. She went on the Breakfast Club to try to defend and explain herself. And I don't necessarily think she did the best job of explaining, making it seem like people who work blue collar jobs are average and made average decisions.
People were upset that they felt like that you were putting down the average person, quote unquote, average job, and the person that was working the average job, that their what they do is not as good as what you do.
She's back in the news again. Recently on her show, she basically said that women who are Black and young in college need to use their college years to think about dating for marriage, because as women get older, their value decreases, and as men get older, their value increases. And the older and older you get, because you're focusing on being a boss chick, because you're focusing on, you know, being this career woman, and you got all these degrees, a lot of men don't care about things like that. They don't care about that. And as you have focused so much of your life on achieving those things in your career, it's going to leave very little room for you to get married and attract someone that desires you.
The reality that needs to be said out loud is that as Black men age, their desirability increases. Thus, their optionality of women is always expanding. And the exact opposite is true for Black women. As we age, doesn't matter how much money we accumulate, our degrees or professional accolades. The reality is that our marriage and partnership market value is depreciating with every passing year. No matter how good we look, no matter how fit we are, men are still seeing primarily our presumed dwindling fertility as a knock against us. And speaking of fertility, that is another reason that I want younger Black women to seek marriage and partnership in college or right after, if that's what they choose.
She took a lot of backlash. There was a lot of people who didn't agree with what she had to say. Mostly Black women was not trying to hear what she had to say. In other situations, some Black women agreed. You know, yeah, I agree. Now, a lot of the things that she was saying sound very familiar, but I'll just leave that there. First of all, I think Ebony K Williams is right. The problem with the West, and because of Western feminism, we really don't understand biology. We don't understand it at all, because in mainstream college campuses and certain political ideologies, people don't even know, some people don't even know what a biological woman is, what the role of a woman is supposed to be, what a man is, etc. We are living in some weird backwards time.
Can you provide a definition for the word woman?
Can I provide a definition?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah.
I can't.
You can't?
Not in
Okay.
this context.
So
I'm not a biologist.
Jesus is coming back. Repent. I think we have lost our way of what God's view of what a woman is and what God wants a woman to do. And because we've left God, number one, but also we've allowed radical feminism to make us believe that we're equal to men in every way, and that we can do whatever men do. We can sexually liberate ourselves. We can work and work and work and work and work. And then when we want to settle down in our 40s and 50s or late 30s, we can do that because, you know, there's no such thing as a biological clock. There's no such thing as biology. So we can do whatever men can do. If men can wait till they're older to reproduce and settle down, women can do that too. But the problem is Western feminism has lied to so many Black women.
I love the way you lie. I love the way you lie.
They have lied to you. And maybe your mom, your aunts, all the women in your life have lied to you because they've been misguided and they've believed a lie as well. Listen, As women get older, their inherent value doesn't decrease because you are made in God's image. So inherently, God says you are. That does not decrease how God sees you. That doesn't mean you're not made in God's image as you get older as a woman. However, we are in the human realm on this earth, and biology says that men prefer younger women. Number one, because youth attracts men. You know, women are more pretty when they're younger, right? There's women who age like fine wine, but for the most part, men are attracted to younger women, and women look their best in their younger years. Look at how you used to look back. Look at some of your old pictures and stuff like that. Look at some of the times, if you're an older woman watching this video, when did men, really try to get at you? Was it when you were in your early 20s, or is it in your 40s and 50s and 60s, or whatever age that you may be? If you're being completely honest, you probably feel like you looked the best back then. Now, again, I'm not saying that as you age, your inherent value decreases in God's eyes. But what I am saying is in the eyes of men, especially men who are super successful, make a lot of money, they have the pick of the litter. They have options. They have options because usually they're at their financial prime, like 35 and up. Usually is when men reach their financial peak or prime or whatever. And that's when they're smooth sailing financially. And women inherently are attracted to older men. It's not just men are attracted to younger women, but statistically and biologically, most women are attracted to older men. We see leadership in older men. We see value in older men. We see that older men have it together. We rather date a man that's a few years older than us or more because we see like the total package in a man that's already put together. Then we will see a man that maybe is 25, 21 years old, especially depending on what part of life we're in. What type of life we're in. If you're a woman who's looking to be married and you have children, you're less likely going to look at a 25-year-old man who probably doesn't have all the things like a 35-year-old man would have together. This is just simple. And unfortunately, this is, biology and facts and just the way God has aligned things is very controversial today, but doesn't mean it's not true. I think more Black women at her age and that in her stature should come out and tell the truth. She is telling the truth. What she is saying is not wrong. It is not wrong. It is not wrong at all. It's not biologically wrong or anything like that. And so women, we need to be strategic. We need to teach our daughters. We need to teach our young women coming up about the mistakes that we made, believing in feminism, believing that we can do whatever we want at whatever age, that we don't have to worry or think about settling down, that we can just focus on our career and love will come when it comes. This is not a fairy tale. We as women need to be strategic because we women, we get pregnant and we don't want to get pregnant by the wrong person. We don't want to get pregnant by the wrong person. And we want to do it God's way. We want to do it right by getting pregnant in wedlock and raising children well in wedlock. Because when you raise children in wedlock, they're going to do better in their lives. All the stats say so. And God says so. So what I'm saying ultimately is that we as women, as Black women, need to hear what she's saying, especially young Black women. Don't get offended. Don't get offended because everyone around you is saying to be a boss chick and you don't need no man. That's them. Okay, let's see how they feel in 50, 60 years. Let's come back and see if they still believe that. But Ebony K Williams is right. And again, I want more older women. I hope more older women that are older Black women that are successful will come out and say it. Because the reason why she can say it is because, as she said that she is experiencing this and she has friends who are the same age as her experiencing this and wishes, they said to her, I wish someone told me this when I was 21. I wish someone told me this to prioritize marriage. Listen, Asian women, other races of women, a lot of them come out of college and they get married. Did you see that video of those women who were out of college? They were at their college graduation and all of them had wedding rings. Like all of them had engagement rings on. They were all white women. And guess what? Some of them weren't the best looking, but they were young, they were available, and they knew what they wanted. They weren't just going to college to get an education, but they were going to college to get a man. Because at that time, 21, 22 years old, that's usually when you graduate college. That is the perfect time to get a husband, to look for a husband, to be strategic about that. And you're in a pool of men who are in college, on college campus, that are doing different various degrees and things like that. You have the pick of the litter. And honestly, well, maybe not. Maybe you don't have to pick a litter, because statistically, it's less men going to college than there are women. But college used to be, and still is in some ways, is that environment where you can have a college sweetheart and get married. And a lot of women do. But unfortunately, Black women, we don't prioritize that, because we're taught the opposite of what every other race of women is taught. We're taught that we need to go after our careers. We're taught that we need to be boss chicks. We're taught that we don't need no man, that we don't need to depend on a man or find a man, that he'll come when he'll come when it's time. And it's like everything is strategy. Everything is strategy. With our biological clock, that is real. Also, when you get to be about 35, you enter geriatric pregnancy stage. So if you want to have a better chance of getting pregnant without, IV treatments, and you want to have a healthy pregnancy, it's best to do it before in your young 20s, in your 20s. The average age that women get married today is 27. That's across the board, right? And that's a lot older than it was in the 50s and the 60s. And I think because of feminism, I think that's too old. Honestly, 20 something. I got married at 21. I think getting married at 20 something years, 27 years old and 30 years old, that's to me, in my own personal opinion, too old. I don't think that was the way God made it, but I do think you can find someone and, you can still have a good marriage and stuff like that. However, the stats say the younger you marry, you're actually more likely to stay married and not be divorced. So basically, when you get married in your 30s or past whatever, like the divorce rate goes up for people like that. So even if you want to fireproof your relationship, it's best to get married early. There's stats and everything that shows that. So all I'm saying, Black women, is that you've been taught wrong. I'm not trying to, offend you. And I applaud Ebony K, although I didn't care for what she said last time. But I do think that she is seeing this. I saw an article when she first went viral a few months ago about the bus driver stuff. I saw an article that said that she was trying to basically be a single mom, and she was freezing her eggs and all that stuff. And she's in her 40s. So she would know all too well what she's saying is true. She's the perfect poster woman or poster child for the message that she's bringing to you. And I believe there are other successful Black women who know this as well, but it's against the sister code, sisterhood, and feminism to just tell the absolute truth. And so I think that's kind of where we are in this sense. I think that's kind of where we are in this lane that just people don't want to tell the truth. They don't want to be honest because they don't want to offend anybody. But ultimately, it is what it is. So I applaud Ebony K, and I believe that you, Black woman, don't be offended when you hear truth. Open your heart, examine yourself, and ask God to lead you in the right direction. Consider subscribing to my channel. More content updates coming very, very soon. God bless.